Do you have background dies and are not really sure how to use them? You have them, you think they're great, and you're just like, what do I do now? So let's talk about fun ways to use your background dies in cards. We're gonna learn 5 fun techniques. A couple of them are 2-for-1s. I love 2-for-1 cards. And this one happens to be the brand new one from Catherine Pooler, but you can use whatever fun background cards you have. These techniques are universal. They're absolutely a ton of fun. I'm Erin Reed from Erin Reed Makes, and let's pull out your background dies and make some fun cards. Let's jump right into our first card, and we're going to use our brand new Pedaling By stamp set from Catherine Pooler. I've picked out 3 colors of Catherine Pooler ink. We have Seaglass, the new Goldenrod, and Verbena as our colors for our little stamps. And we're going to do the bicycle. There's a few portions of the stamp set. The first one is the actual bike main piece, I guess is the best way to call it. And then you also have the wheels. The wheels we're going to stamp first. This is in black, and I'm basically going to come in and go, I want my wheels about there. That looks pretty good. And now we're gonna put our bike piece up on top, line it up. Let's go with Verbena. I'm the messiest person when it comes to stamping. I always get it everywhere, so. Again, messiest stamper ever. It's okay. All right, so there's our first one. Now we're gonna do another one. I'm gonna speed that part up.
So I felt like I was clear as mud about how the stamp system worked. There are 4 parts to this little bicycle. One is the body of the frame, another one is the set of wheels, and then there's also the seat and the handlebars. So for each of the bikes, I picked black for the wheels, I picked a color for the main part of the bike, which I picked between Seaglass, Goldenrod, and Verbena. And then for the handlebars and seat, I picked a contrasting color. So that way I would have the 3 colors and every which one would be a little fun mix.
This is also a great technique if you've got other stamps that are nice and large and you want to create your own background piece. This is perfect for that. All right, so let that dry, and I'm going to put all, especially those little tiny pieces, away. So just popping them back onto the back of my stamp set. Wash my hands done. Remember, this video is all about 5 ways to use your background plates. So this is where this comes in because it's going to be part of the background, so a traditional background plate. I already die cut out just in white cardstock, plain old white cardstock. I love my Nina white cardstock in white, but when you place it on a white card base, it has cool texture, but it gets a little hidden. I mean, it's kind of hard to see, which is a cool feature, but it's not what I want to do. So we're gonna make a mat to go behind that. And the best way to do that, that matches the colors I already have in the bicycles, is by making your own background color mat. I'm also gonna do a second one for our little sentiment that I've already stamped, which is part of the same stamp set. There's a couple of sentiments, and I liked this one mostly for the shape of it, but it was also really cute. Here's to your next cycle around the sun. Like, why not? Let's have fun with that. So the big background card, I think I'm gonna do it in the Verbena. And looking at how this fits, we're gonna put that there. And then this piece is gonna go in the middle. I only need to color around the edges. I don't need to do all of it because that just kind of defeats the purpose. Why waste more ink? I just have copy paper down here just to protect my space. And Catherine Pooler inks are beautiful. This is the new Verbena. And I'm just going to slide it down. And I'm just going to do a quick check, make sure that my black is fully, yeah, no problems. And I like that there's a little bit of texture there. It's really cute. And then I'm going to do this one, and let's do Goldenrod, just for something fun, because there's just little hints of the Goldenrod, but it's not in your face. So I'm just going to tap this on here. There it is. Make sure it's all colored. That dry, because it's going to take a hot minute. So we're going to assemble these pieces while these dry. I'm using my Xyron Mega Runner just to stick one thing to another. Make sure your fingers are dry and clean, you don't smudge. That's the worst thing in the world, is smudging. How many times have I done that? Too many. All right, so I'm just gonna glue all these together, which they are done. And I believe, because I did this one first, look, we're good, it's good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and place this here first. I did apply a black mat to this, and the dimensions of my particular small card here were 3 inches by 4 1/4. So I just decided that was what my mat was gonna be. Add a bunch of adhesive all the way through here. This now gets added to here, and now you really can see that beautiful background die. Look at that beautiful background die. Is that cool little shape? I liked how it fit right inside of the little squares that were on there. This is gonna get added to my card. It's all about the layers. The layers make the big difference. That little hint of that layer of white around the edge there, I love that pop. And then now we're gonna come in and we're good enough to go. Foam strips to the rescue. And take one strip, I'm gonna go on the back side, I'm gonna line it, and I'm just gonna tear. I'm gonna do 3 strips along the back side, Something about the dimension just makes your cards kind of pop and have a little bit more fun. And yeah, there we go. Add the little extra piece back on so I have it for later. And there is our first card complete. So one way to use your big background dies, is to add as a fun layer around the back side. All right, it's time to jump into the next card. The second card, I got a little bit of a jump start. I took the same stamp set, and this time I did a little Build-A-Bike, and we're gonna add on all these little fun things. There's a cute little kitty, there's some balloons, there's presents, and again, I stuck with the same colors. You're gonna see a theme with these cards. They're all the same colors. I'm pretty much using this stamp set, and then of course, our background die, but we're gonna come back to the background die in a minute. First, I'm gonna die cut all of these little elements out using the dies that correspond to the stamp set, which is called Pedaling By. Very appropriate. These are the new stamp sets that from Catherine Piller that came out today. So grab them, they're super cute, I love them. Along with the 2 new colors, don't forget, these are brand new colors from Catherine Piller, also launched today. But first, die cut time, so let's die cut this baby. Elements are all die cut out, and the ones, when I'm done die cutting, I put them on magnetic sheet. I'm gonna show you a fun little way at the end when we're done with all this, how I store my stamps and dies, but for now, they're on a magnetic sheet so I don't lose any of these little, because some of them are so tiny. They're itty bitty, so off to the side they go. Now, I did make a couple of boo-boos, so we're gonna do a couple of quick fixes. First of all, I did not do a very good job stamping my little strings for my balloons, so I'm just gonna take a pen instead of restamping it and making a mess. And I'm just gonna come in and draw it in. You know, make it look a little more. And yes, there's another string in there, and I'm probably the only one who's gonna notice that. So there it is, there's an easy fix. Second little oopsie I made is that, number one, the die already has the basket on there. And there's 2 different ways you can do your bike in this particular stamp set. One is you build your whole bike and you stamp it out, and the basket can be stamped as well, but I chose to keep it separate, so I'm gonna lay it on top. So it has a little, now I know where it's gonna fit. But you could also choose to do the base of the bike separate like that with the wheel, with the seat and the pedal on there. And then there is a wheel, and there's a whole separate stamp if you wanna do the wheels separately. So there's options to this, which I absolutely love that. I chose to do the whole thing, but I did not line up my seat or my handlebars perfectly. So a little paintbrush, and I did it in Seaglass, our lid here, and a tiny bit of water. A little bit of water, just tiny bit. Almost like we're gonna watercolor in here, right? So we're just gonna do a tiny bit of watercolor. We do not wanna add a ton. We just wanna add a little bit of color in here to kind of fill in where I made my oopsie. I'm gonna add a little bit more color to that brush and kind of go over where it's already at. This is like my little quick fix. And yeah, it's darker there, so I'm gonna re-go over where I already am on the seat. It's just like my quickie little oops. And so now it's fixed. Same with the handlebar, tiny little bit extra. I just need to add a little bit more to the handlebar. And it's like you wouldn't know it. Just, it's a quick little, oops, I messed up, now it's not so bad. And then make sure just gonna clean this out. It's the beautiful thing about the Catherine Piller inks is that you can easily do fixes like that, because you're not always perfect. Let's put this all aside while we build our card. Not only this is a stamping platform, but this also is a sticky mat. And this back piece here, this actually can pull off and you can put new sticky mats down. I'm not quite ready to replace it yet, but I'm gonna place a smaller piece. This measures 5 by 3 3/4. And here is a cover plate. Remember our beautiful cover plate? Here it is. Or it's also a background die, whatever you want to call it. And I cut that again just in white cardstock, but we're going to use this as a stencil now. So we're going to place this on here, and it's going to be a little extra sticky all around the edge, but because it's just barely big enough, and I don't want it to wiggle, see, because it's wiggling. It's just barely big enough because it's not meant to be a stencil, but we're going to use it as such. I got to find some washi tape, and we're going to make sure it doesn't move. So we're just gonna washi tape that down on either side, just to make sure it doesn't wiggle. There it is. Now we're gonna go in with our goldenrod, and if you look at the pieces that we cut, remember the 3 colors, I did majority, whoops, you can't even see that. did the majority of the items I cut, just here in the corner here, I did them in the Verbena and the Seaglass. The only thing I did in Goldenrod was the kitty, because it made sense. I've seen cute kitties in that color. I've never seen a kitty in Seaglass, but you do you and have fun. You can make your kitty cats whatever color you want. So we're gonna do a little bit of some ink blending. So I'm gonna grab my yellow and just a hint. I also wanted to do a nice light color. So I just have a blending brush and a little bit of ink on here and just a little bit of some light just to get some contrast in here. Just a little bit of some background. I'm not worried about the top. The top's gonna be a little bit of a throwaway. You could use this, there's nothing wrong. You could totally use this top piece for something else if you want to now. But we're just gonna create a little bit, notice I'm going on an angle, just a little bit of some texture in the background here. Just kind of hitting some spots here. Just a little bit of lightness. And then I'm gonna just test it, see if I like where it's at. Just gonna pull up one side. Yeah, see there it is. It's just a little bit, a little hint, a little something, something there. And there it is. Now I like to build out my cards before I officially place them all together to see if I like the way it's all kind of laid out. And I'm happy with that. I've kind of fiddled around, I dropped the base down a bit. I know I want my sentiment there, so before I get too far, let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment, but I'm gonna make this lickety-split for you. Two necessity things for building this card up. Let's do our backgrounds first. Just black matte. I like my layers, I love my layers. Can't go wrong with layers. Go ahead and build in the next layer. All right, so there's our main portion. And it's just a hint of it. And you could totally change up the colors. I like the yellow in the background because it's just a little hint of that kitty. Now we're gonna start building our bike. So I have my sticker maker. This is a 3-inch sticker maker and it's a 1.5. We're gonna grab the 3 because that's not big enough. If your things don't fit in here, all of that would fit in here, no problem, because that's 1.5. If they don't, this is where the 3 comes in. So I'm gonna start running all of these through, and this actually can run sideways. So this turns everything into a sticker, which is phenomenal. You grab the back end, you start pulling it through. There's that. And then as soon as you start reaching the end, start putting each of your next pieces in one at a time, just like that. All those little bits, they're kind of a pain to get in there, and just start running them through. And you want to put pretty side up. Whatever side you want to see, that's the side you're going to put up. And there we go, run them all through. And they pop out on the back side. You tear, and go rub, rub, rub. Everything from the bottom side up is going to be a sticker. Anything on the top side's not. And one thing I like to do is I kind of like to go around the edges here, especially in the centers. You might get a couple little cobwebs, but if you kind of go around the edges really decently and just kind of really rub through here, you're not going to get all those little funny cobwebs. You should be good. All right, so we're going to peel this off. Piece here, peel off, get all that little top layer off. There we go. Oops, this is just trash now. And the first thing I can do is I can build my little kitty cat here. So I'm going to put my kitty cat kind of in the basket, kind of wedge it in there. Actually, I'm just gonna put the basket down. And the kitty cat just kind of lays on top. There. And pick up the bike, because the bike is one big giant sticker. See how this is easy? It's all a sticker, and you just place this down. I'm gonna have this go right about here, because my balloons are gonna go off on the back end. So here's my little kitty, kind of right here where kind of at the bottom where all of the shading and all the stenciling happened. So there's that. And I'm gonna place the present. We're gonna come back to the balloons in a minute. So the present goes right back here, kind of off on the back of the bike. Little bow on top of the present. And there's a couple other presents as well that you can mess around with. Now I have my balloons, and we're just gonna lift up. Got a couple of seconds before this fully sets in. And I think I'm gonna cut a tiny bit off of my balloons. So just a smidgen off. And then this tucks right in here. Kind of have them flying off the back end as if, you know, the wind is kind of pulling them. Pretend there's somebody on the bike. And there's number 2. So this is the second way that you can use that background die. Here it is. So use it by making a stencil out of it and then using it as a background piece. So you don't have to just use it as it is. It can totally create something different. All right, let's jump to card number 3. Now, before we jump to the next card, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know, it's one of those fun things that you like to do. So just, you know, that little button down there, just like, subscribe, I love it. And as always, all supply links are down in the information section. So, you know, if any of the fun things I'm using in this video are to your fancy, just jump down below and you can grab them. All right, let's get back to card making. All right, this next technique is a twofer. First, we're gonna ink blend. So we're gonna start off with our Seaglass, and again, I'm sticking with the same colors, but you can pick whatever colors you like. And I'm going to ink blend across the top. We're gonna come back and add some more layering so it doesn't look so patchy in a second. Now we're gonna come in with our next color, which is our Goldenrod. That is next. And when I do ink blending, I really do try to keep nice concentric circles as I'm doing it, so it keeps it as even as possible. And then now I'm going to go back to the top color and come in and layer again to really try and blend in these two sections. So these two layers here are blending. And then now come in and add some good texture and color. It's okay to have some light and dark spots, but now I got this fun kind of shade between the two. And sometimes I'll go back and forth between the colors a couple of times until I feel like, yeah, it's just exactly where I want it to be. So come in with the yellow again. And I'm happy with that. I like that right there. And then we're gonna come in with the Verbena at the bottom. Same thing. Try not to go too much into my yellow, so I'm gonna come back in now with yellow, go a little bit lower on the yellow, or the Verbena, or the Goldenrod, I should say. And sometimes I'll even come in and fully draw it all the way down just to make it a little more seamless. Same with here. Just to kind of pull the color of the yellow, which is the middle color, all the way through, almost creating a new color. But just kind of keeping it a little more continuous. And so that is our top layer. We're gonna die cut with this. So we're gonna go ahead and lay this on top. And a little movie magic, let's get this die cut. All right, so we're gonna pull all this out. If you wanna keep this could be like a really cool little frame lit to something. Have fun with that. And then we're gonna pop out all these little elements. And save them, because we're gonna use them for something else. So this is like, again, 2 for 1 card. There we go. And we definitely have some coloration happening here, which is really pretty. So here's our first card. Card 1's pretty straightforward. Pop the little pieces out. Here is the die cut element. We're gonna add some adhesive going all the way around. If you're not a big fan of a tape runner for this, you could always pull out your glue, whatever you like. So I'm just adding little bits of adhesive going all the way around, placing it on. I think I'm gonna have the purple up top, but whatever you like. And keep in mind, I went from top to bottom, but you could totally do this card and have it go from this direction. So you don't have to do it this way. It could also go this way. There's no wrong way to do this. I'm gonna do this vertically, and I'm gonna place, I just picked a thanks, really easy sentiment, pop it in the center, keep it nice and simple. This one I will use glue for. Using my Barely Art glue, a couple little dots here and there, just to get it stuck down. There we go. I'm gonna put it in the yellow section right here. That's as hard as that gets. Nice and simple, nice and easy. For the other card, save all little bits. Now what I did is I took a black cardstock and I placed another die cut element of that same background die, and I put adhesive on here. So you can already see a little bits of adhesive. And so as I'm coming in, and keep in mind, I'm gonna actually put this one right here so I can see my color gradation. I'm going to start popping in all the colors. Now this is gonna be a little bit, if you wanna use your little picking tool, most of these already have adhesive inside of here. If not, I can grab a tiny bit of my glue. I might just do that anyway. I might just put a little dot of glue in just each one of these little holes. Let's do those first. So instead of seeing me like step by step, I'm just gonna speed this part up and you can see me fill it in. Now you saw me using this little picky tool here. This has got a little bit of a waxy end where you can pick things up. It works for sequins, it works for lots of small things. It's got a little maneuverable tool. It's called my Crystal Katana. It's a great little tool. And again, using the same thanks, pick your favorite sentiment that you like, a favorite word sentiment. I know you have some. And you know, I gravitate towards the ones I like the best, and thanks is a good card. It's a good one to have. Place it in the same place, just right across the top here. Keeping that simple. And it's a great 2-for-1 card because you die cut once or you ink blend once, and then you use the opposites, and it's a fun little juxtaposition of the colors, and you can play with any colors for this. So that's cards 3 and 4. And our last card, I grabbed some paper. This is a spring gingham from, I've had this forever, for a very long time, from Catherine Pooler. And I grabbed a color that's very similar to the Goldenrod. It kind of fits in the family compared to the other one. So I'm loving this color here. And we're gonna go ahead and do that swiping method. So scratch paper, put it down, and we're gonna swipe just to give another fun color. And I've cut this down to fit perfectly with an element that we created. So we created a little bit of a lattice. Let's put that away. So I die cut out another just out of white. Notice we've been using white for all of this. And I went through and die cut, and all I did is I took and I went right down the middle of one of the squares, right down the middle of another set of the squares as close as possible. So it roughly was about 2 inches, ballpark. And this fits perfectly on top of here. So look at that fun little color change. It looks really cool, right? You don't always have to take your die plates and use them exactly the same shape. You can cut them up and use pieces of them. I mean, here's another piece that was left over, and this one right here. That one looks pretty cool too. Like that could be like the bottom of something. So play around with them, cut them up, have fun. When I'm not sure what color to use, I default to black. It goes with everything. You know, it's just like with clothing. Time to layer it up without flying everything across my desk. So start off with black. I just went down by 1/8 of an inch. I usually go down by 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. It kind of depends on the card. But you can play around with your layers. Here I went down 1/4 of an inch to create a nice, beautiful, big border, so you can see that nice, big black border. So it really will make the thanks of the word pop. And I'm just gonna place some dots of glue. Nice thin lines. You don't wanna go too heavy with glue, otherwise it's gonna slip and slide and cause a problem. A couple little dots in the center here. There we go, should be good. And then place this on here. If you mess up like I just did and you're gonna see some of that glue, it will dry clear. So don't worry about that. So there it is. Kind of a cool little lattice work happening there. And I'm going to take some scratch paper, flip this over so I don't get glue all over my desk while I add adhesive. And then line this up in the middle. I'm just gonna line this up towards the bottom. I like having fun layers where it doesn't go all the way to the edge so you can see all the different kind of pops of color. And then our thanks is just gonna go right here in the center. I told you I was gonna show you how to store your stamps and dies. So I use the magnetic sheets. I actually cut off the extra that I didn't need because I can use the other one for something smaller, like a smaller stamp set. I take my stamp set, I pop it in behind, I take whose product it is because I definitely like to know which brand it came from. And I found these handy dandy little pouches that you just pop everything into, snaps, and now it's all together and I can see exactly who it's from, where it goes to, and it's all in one piece and it's not gonna break. These are little nifty storage units. That's how we store my stamps and dies together. So hopefully I've inspired you to pull out your background dies, or if you love this one, you can snag this one. Links are down in the information section. You can get these and all the supplies all down listed below. Most of them are from Catherine Pooler. I absolutely love her products, and some of these are brand new releases like this guy that just came out today. Tag me if I've inspired you to use some of your old products, or if you loved any of these fun techniques, tag me on Instagram, wherever. I'd love to see some of the fun new projects that you are creating, and you can always join me at my card swaps. Link for that is down in the information. We got one going on right now, and it's not too late to join, and it's all about birthday. So thanks so much for joining, and I'll see everybody again later. Bye-bye.